Hi everybody, so today's video is going to be all about how Halo has evolved from Halo Combat Evolved all the way through to Halo 5. So hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It is Highland Gamer here, back with another video for you guys. As I said just previously, the main part of today's video is going to be about how Halo has developed throughout its years, from the first one all the way through to the current one. It is only going to be taken into account the main Halos, not any other Reaches or Halo Wars or anything like that. I am also going to touch on what I would like from Halo Infinite, which is the one that's hopefully going to be coming out later this year. So keep tuned for that, and I'm also going to say about why I personally like Halo as well. So to start with, obviously you've got Halo 1, which is Halo Combat Evolved, and for me it was different to the types of first-person shooter games that I'd been playing at the time. You had, like, so for example, you're fighting aliens, you could use alien weapons, which are completely different, obviously, to the weapons that we use in a normal first-person shooter game. And it had that different feel because you could, for example, you could get shot a few times and your shield would just go down and you could hide and your shield would go back up. But you also had health in the first Halo, if you remember. So once your shield went down, you still had all your health, and then you could go and find health packs and get your health back up. And it just meant I felt that for more of a novice gamer, which I was at the time and still am to an extent, it gave you that sort of freedom where you didn't have to be such like a good gamer to get all the way through it. And of course, you still had all your difficulty settings as well, which helped. So yeah, but then also, you had the option for two players as well, which was always good fun. And I just felt like, obviously, I can't compare it to any other sort of a Halo game at this point because there was nothing. It was the first one out. But yeah, I just felt like Halo Combat Evolved just gave them a super really good platform to build on in the future, and I feel like that's exactly what they ended up doing. So then we get to Halo 2, and I felt Halo 2 was an evolution from Halo Combat Evolved, and I felt like a lot of them were evolutions. So what I mean with that is they'd kept the platform that they built in Halo 1 and added to it. So there was a lot more detail to the graphics in Halo 2 than there was in Halo 1. And I remember on the original Xbox, when I was playing it, it was like the graphics loaded in two sections almost. So you had the almost like the template that would load first, and then just like a second afterwards, all the detail for, say, Master Chief Samuel would come up on top, which was pretty cool. But it showed like how they must have been pushing the graphics back then to make the game as good as they possibly could. They also tried to add things. So, for example, you had dual wielding and stuff like that, which they'd added in Halo 2, which is brand new. Excuse me. And with the dual wielding, it wasn't just like you could use two SMGs, for example. You could use maybe a pistol and an SMG. You could use a needler and a pistol. You could, whatever combination you wanted, as long as it was a one-handed weapon, you could dual wield it. And that was, yeah, I really enjoyed actually running around with two weapons. You'd lose obviously things like the ability to throw grenades because you got a weapon in each hand, for example. But that was just you would obviously make that choice whether you wanted to be able to use grenades or whether you wanted to use dual wielding and things like that. So yeah, I really like that. When it got to Halo 3, and I might be wrong here, but I felt like the main thing, obviously, you still had an evolution of things like the graphics would have been even better and stuff like that. I felt Halo 3 ran smoother than Halo 1 and 2. So it maybe had a better FPS. Now, I don't have any equipment to go ahead and check the FPS or anything like that. or resolution or anything. Um, but yeah, it's just what I felt. There wasn't so much difference in terms of uh, adding too many things. One thing I did notice added, I guess, was you started to see more detail to the way you viewed the game. So it started to look a little bit more like you're actually playing it from within Master Chief's helmet. But yeah, again, Halo 3 and evolution throughout Halo 1 and then Halo 2. So yeah, not a huge amount to say on Halo 3. When it got to Halo 4 though, that's when it started to feel revamped. And actually, I actually felt like a little kid at Christmas when I started playing Halo 4. Now, this was the first time that I'd ever played Halo 4. Because I didn't have an Xbox One. I went down the PlayStation route, and I'm not sure if Halo 4 came out on the 360 or if it came out on the Xbox One. But yeah, for whatever reason, I didn't have Halo 4. So when I played it, it felt not just like it had been sort of evolved, it actually felt properly revamped. And that was like the controller, um, the controls started to become more standard. So in the first three Halos, the controls were different to what you'd expect in, say, if you were playing Call of Duty. So if you were trying to crouch, for example, if I remember right, it was left thumbstick you had to push down, but you had to keep it down. You couldn't just press a button and then he would stay crouched. So if you're trying to hide behind a rock or something to take cover, you couldn't like crouch and then sort of peer out and shoot your enemy. You would have to sort of completely hold it down, and it would make it sort of very difficult to sort of be a wee bit more tactical. So it was things like the controllers had started, they hadn't fully come back to sort of what you call conventional for today, but they started to come that way. But the guns felt different. It felt like everything had been open for getting developed, from the guns to, and every gun that had been in there, to just anything you can think of. Like the Flood had been defeated in Halo 3, so there was a brand new enemy to fight. The Covenant was still in there, of course. But you had this new enemy as well. They came with all their new guns and abilities. Master Chief's helmet had been developed further, so it looked more like you were fighting from inside his helmet. And when you were firing the guns, they felt different. And actually, in the first sort of mission or two, one of my favorite weapons was just a pistol. It just everything had been developed, and the game had become so much better because of it, and it felt modernized. And of course, there's so many reasons for that, and I'm not a hugely technical person, so I'm not even going to try and get into it. But yeah, it was just, yeah, that to me was when I sort of went wow when I started playing it. A couple of things that I was disappointed out within Halo 4 is they took away sort of dual wielding and the Flood. So the Flood had developed throughout the first few Halos, and when it got to Halo 3, I was like, oh, cool. They started to look a lot more sort of almost scarier type thing. You know, they had a lot more sort of, you know, the graphics were making them a lot better. But when it got to Halo 4, the improvement was that big that I was actually really looking forward to seeing the Flood. So for them not to be in it was a bit of a disappointment. But then I guess they couldn't, because we defeated them in Halo 3. And yeah, the dual wielding, I enjoyed being able to dual wield. So it was a bit of a shame that they'd taken that away, even if they'd maybe made it so that it was just with things like pistols or something like that. That would have been all right. But yeah, for it to be taken away, a bit of a disappointment. But at the end of the day, I still really enjoyed the game, and it didn't really take anything away from it that much for me. And then, so when we get to Halo 5, you're up to full controls. It had gone back to sort of being more of an evolution. So that again, I think Master Chief's Helmet was fully developed by this point, like more developed still. Graphics were even better, gameplay was even better, and the controls was the big thing. They were fully to what you would expect if you were playing any other sort of first-person shooter. Which, when they did all that, was great. But I started using the wrong buttons because I've been used to them for the first sort of 3 or 4 Halos, and you might even see that if you go back and look at some of my other videos I done in Halo. You'll actually be able to see me actually using the wrong buttons at times. I'm sure. Yeah, so what I would say as well, for you guys to get a full feel about how Halo has developed from Combat Evolved all the way through to Halo 5, I've actually made a playlist on my channel. So go ahead, give that a view, and leave comments. Let me know about your favorite parts of that particular game and whatnot as well. Let me know. It'll be cool to hear other people's thoughts on it. Yeah, made a playlist on my channel, and yeah, go ahead, give it a watch. So that's how I think Halo has developed throughout the years. But I want to talk about what I would like from Halo Infinite. So I'm sure any Halo fan will know it was obviously supposed to be coming out on launch for the Series X, but there was issues. So it looks like it's going to be delayed well, it is delayed, and it's going to be coming out at some point this year, which I'm really looking forward to. But what do I want from Halo Infinite? Well, I don't want them to change what they've been doing because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So in most of the Halos, they've just been evolving it. So carry on, just evolve it. I'm sure they've got a few ideas. So yeah, evolve the game. Obviously the graphics will be better, and they need to be up to scratch, I would say. I think that was an issue, that one of the issues why it's maybe been delayed, so they wanted to develop the graphics better. But yeah, just if they've got 1 or 2 ideas that they want to add in, go ahead, add those ideas in, make the graphics up to scratch. You've obviously got ray tracing technology now, so I'm sure they're going to be adding that in, that sort of thing. I'd also like a bit of continuity. So, like, for example, you've got dual wielding wasn't in Halo 1, then it was in Halo 2 and 3, then it wasn't in Halo 4 and 5. So, just have your ideas and stick to them. Don't keep taking things in and adding them out and then taking them back in again. So, as much as I enjoy dual wielding, for example, if they go and add that back in for Halo Infinite, it's like, come on guys, make your mind up, I'm getting dizzy here. So yeah, just a bit of carry on, evolving the game, adding 1 or 2 things in. Don't keep changing your minds on ideas from one game to the next. And yeah, just make a game that everyone's going to enjoy playing. So I'd just like to take a second just to say how much I've actually enjoyed playing Halo again. Obviously I had that break when I went down the PlayStation route, but playing Halo 1 through to Halo 5 just reminded me how much I enjoy playing the game. Didn't take me long to complete them at all, and I know it won't be the last time that I play through them as well. Fantastic game, fantastic series, and I for one can't wait until Halo 5 comes out. Sorry, Halo Infinite even. So I just want to take a minute to explain why I like Halo and how I got into it. So when I was younger, I didn't have consoles. I had an Amiga, which was for the family, and we had then went to family sort of desktops, PCs. Didn't have anything like PlayStation, Segas, Nintendos, anything like that. As I got older, my dad went and got his own PC, and my brother went and got his own PC. I still wasn't working, so I couldn't do that. And the PC that sort of were then for me and my sister was sort of old and couldn't really play much, that sort of thing. So I had a bit of Christmas and a bit of birthday money, and I decided I wanted to go and get myself a PlayStation. They were a lot cheaper back then, of course. So my dad actually talked me into getting an Xbox, and then actually went and talked to my mum into let me get an Xbox as well. So a couple of days later, at the shops, I went and got an Xbox, the original Xbox, of course. It came with 3 games. One of them was a driving game, which I can't remember the name of. The other one was a Simpsons game, which I can't remember the name of. The third game was Halo. And I went and took it home. I loved playing the game, completed it many times. My pal went and got an Xbox as well, came with Halo. He loved it as well, and we would sort of like on lunch breaks go and play it, and we would sort of put the difficulty setting up full, and like, you could go and throw a plasma grenade on your pal, and he would run into the room sort of to destroy like some of the animals that were like the hunters, sorry, which were really difficult to kill. And then I would run away, or he would run away, so that the other one of us would respawn, and we could pick up all our weapons and everything again. Yeah, and it just gave hours and hours of fun. And then when it got to Halo 2, I pre-ordered Halo 2. By this point, I was working, and pre-ordered Halo 2, and it actually came out the day that I passed my driving test. So that was a really good day because I got a driving license and I got Halo 2. So yeah, a day which I couldn't complain about, and that's basically how it started. By the time Halo 3 came out, I was sort of hooked, and it was one of my favorite sort of games to make sure that I was playing, and everything went from there. So yeah, that's how I got into Halo and why I really like it. So that's all for me just now, guys, and I hope you're all doing well, and whoever you are, wherever you are, happy gaming, and I'll see you later. Cheers, thanks, bye.